It's November. It's almost 10:30 in the morning. The dew is burned off, and we are ready to start harvesting our corn. So we'll go ahead, jump in the 9510, get it fired up, and we'll head over here to our cornfield. One nice thing about this is it's nice and close. Don't have to travel too far with any of our machinery for our fields so far. So that is very, very nice. So we'll get this combine unfolded. We'll get it fired up, drop it down, and we'll get our GPS set up here. It's calling for 3 headlands. And I do have the extended straw swath or straw crop mod on, so we will have straw to bale off this field. I like using this mod because it is a little bit more realistic as far as being able to bale up the corn stalks. I know it's not corn stalks and straw, it's straw instead, but you know, it is what it is. This gets it at least a little more realistic. So we'll go ahead and get this field opened up here, and I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping we have a real big yield and have a lot of corn to sell, because we're down to $5,600 here and we need money, and a lot of it. We're going, like I said, we're going through about $5,000, $6,000 a month here in expenses, so we need a good yield here to get plenty of cash to make sure that we can pay our bills and don't end up losing the farm in our first year. We've already got the combine completely full once, and we're not done with our headlands. That's a good sign. So I ran back to the home place, grabbed the grain truck here, and we'll get this thing loaded and kind of parked out of the way. It'll take about 2.5 or so combine dumps to fill this grain truck. And once it's full, we'll run it to the elevator and see how much we can get. Alright, we have our first truckload of corn. I went ahead and hired up a worker so they can keep combining while I take this to the mill. And hopefully we're back in time to get them emptied out before they get full. But right now, the mill is paying the best price, so that's where we're going to head. It's a bit of a drive, but that's alright. I think we should have plenty of time. The best price was actually here at Farmville Grain, so this is where we're dumping the corn. And we need to get a lot of money, because I completely forgot we sold off the baler. So we need to also purchase a new baler. Otherwise, we can't get that straw baled up. So, yeah, that was a big whoops. Well, we got just shy of $19,000. So that'll definitely cover buying a new baler and a couple months worth of mortgage. And it looks like our worker's 80% full, so we need to get back to the... So we need to get back to the field as soon as we can and make sure that they keep rolling. And we did not make it back in time, so I'm going to have to jump in the combine, fire the worker. That way we can get this thing unloaded. Since I had to go ahead and fire the worker, I'm just going to go ahead and run the next combine load. It'll take another combine load and a half to get this semi full, or to get this grain truck full. So I just will run it. No reason to be spending money on a worker when I don't actually need to. So I'll go ahead, finish out loading, combining this field, and I'll see how much we end up with. Alright, the combine is full, the truck is full, and we still have corn in the field. So that's a good thing. I'm guessing we have another combine load to come out of the field yet, so that's really good. We're going to make plenty of money off of this corn harvest. Now, the bad part is we're leaving a lot of money on the table not being able to store this and sell at its peak price. So that is definitely going to be something high up on our list, but the first thing we got to do is get our hands on a planter. Otherwise, we're not going to have a crop to harvest next year. But we're going to take this into the Farmville grain again, get it emptied out, collect our money, and get back to combining. Alright, we made exactly $19,000 on that load. So the price went up a little bit. We'll head back to the farm, finish combining, and bring the last little bit of corn in. And that'll be it for harvest for year one. Now we still have all of our bales to sell. We'll have a bunch of straw bales to get sold, and we need to get our baler bought. So there's still more than enough work to get done here, and more than enough money to be spent here at some point. Alright, our corn harvest is officially done. We've got a little over 15,000 liters of corn to sell here. We're going to take this to the Farmville grain, get it sold off, and then we need to pick up a baler so we can get all the straw baled up. Now, it's going to be tight, but I think after we get all the bales sold, we should be sitting okay, even though we do have to buy a baler and we still have to somehow find a planter. So the money's going to be tight, but I think we're going to be okay. We'll for sure get through the winter, but we may end up having to sell bales sometime midsummer just to make sure that we don't run out of funds. But I think so far we've gotten a pretty good start to our farm here on Farmville, North Carolina. So we'll get this to the mill, see how much money we get for 15,000 liters and how much we end up having to spend on a baler. Alright, we got another $11,600. That is absolutely fantastic. So that puts us up to 55,000. Feeling pretty good about where we're at. Now we need to go ahead and get a baler picked up, and we'll also need to figure out some tillage, fertilizing, and what other inputs we need to do for that cornfield. Well, after I left the Farmville grain, ran over to the equipment dealer and talked to them about a baler, and told him I was also going to be looking for a planter coming up here this spring. So he's got his eyes out for a used planter for me, but we were able to pick up this New Holland 648 baler, and it actually hooked up to the back of the grain truck. I couldn't believe it. So I was able to pull it home with that instead of having to use a tractor. Now this cost $6,000, and then I had to spend another $2,000 on fuel because the combine went through 3/4 of a tank, and believe it or not, this 1066 has also gone through a ridiculous amount of fuel. So I don't think this has that big of a tank on it, so that's part of the issue. The combine, on the other hand, has a very big tank, and it burned through a ridiculous amount of fuel. But we're going to go ahead, head over to our cornfield, get all of the straw baled up in there, and hopefully we get a lot of bales off this. I'm not sure how many we'll get. I honestly have no idea. Not even going to attempt to guess. But we'll just go ahead and get what we can and be pleasantly surprised when we get done. We'll fire it up, drop it down, and get to baling here. All right, finishing up our last two little passes here, and we'll be done baling our straw. So we ended up with 26 bales. We're only gonna have a few hundred liters left over here, so no big deal there. But I was in such a hurry and so excited to get this new baler going, I forgot to put fuel in the 1066. We got very lucky and had just enough to get this field done. So we're going to head back to the home place, get this thing fueled up, get the baler put away, And then we'll get the bale trailer and the John Deere out and get all these straw bales picked up. Now, something I did notice and hadn't really paid enough attention to was that field's only 8 acres, but we own 21 acres around it. So that means we have a whole bunch of land that's not being used. So I think project for this winter will be to remove a bunch of trees and extend that field out. If we can at least double it to 16 acres, that would be absolutely phenomenal. So that's gonna be on our list for this winter, and that will also help produce some extra income for us as well by cutting down and selling the wood. So that's a project I really hadn't planned on doing, but it's something we're for sure going to have to do. But for now, we need to worry about our bales and getting those picked up off the field, so we'll grab the John Deere here, grab the bale trailer, and go start picking up bales. So we've got 26 of them to pick up. So it'll be 3 trailer loads and a couple on the front. Alright, we got all of our stock bales picked up and off the field. I went ahead and left 8 of them on the trailer. That way they're already preloaded. Pretty happy with how everything's going. But now that I've thought about extending that field, I don't think I'm going to put any fertilizer down this month. And I think I'll wait till spring and see how wide I get this and see how many acres we end up adding to the field. So with that being said, that's probably going to be about it for this month. So I'll see you guys in December or January, whichever month has the higher price for all of our bales. All right, it's January and it's time to sell all of our bales. As you can tell, we're down to $36,000. So our money is going fast. But thankfully, this bale trailer does hook up to the pickup. So we'll be able to use the pickup to transport the bales. And this will go much faster than having to use a tractor that only does 20 miles an hour. So we're going to head up to the bale sale here. They have the best price for our straw bales. And we'll get all of our straw bales sold off, and then we'll switch over to our hay bales and start getting those all sold off. Alright, well, I ended up deciding to come up here to the farmer's market instead. So this is where we'll sell off all of our bales here. Alright, we're up to 42,000. Not bad for our first load. Alright, well, it is now 10 a.m. We've got all of our bales sold, so we have no more products to sell for this year. And we're sitting right at $80,000, so that's enough to get us through and cover mortgage and everything, but not enough to buy a planter. So for the rest of this winter here, I'm going to be clearing out trees, selling off as much wood as I can, and trying to make whatever profit I can to make sure we can buy a planter and also extend our field. So I'll catch up to you guys in the spring.